Welcome back to the deep dive. There's that feeling when a story you've sort of grown up with finally hits its last page.
Mm-hmm.
For almost a decade, we followed these kids in Hawkins, Indiana, as they navigated while growing up, but also fighting these interdimensional monsters.
And now the book is closed.
It is. So today, we're doing a surgical deep dive into the finale of Stranger Things 5, Episode 8, which had the perfect title, The Rightside Up. It closed out the whole saga on December 31st, 2025.
And this really wasn't just an ending, was it? It was a massively complex storytelling feat, and the sources we've got give us the definitive map of how they pulled it off.
That's a great way to put it.
So our mission for you today isn't just to recap. It's to synthesize the chaos. We really need to dissect this high-stakes ending, understand the very specific, multi-pronged tactics the Hawkins crew used.
Right.
And maybe the biggest challenge is grappling with the really intentional ambiguity the writers left around the fate of their main hero. It's an ending that demanded belief.
And what makes this deep dive so valuable is that the source material goes beyond just the action. It gives us the why. The key sacrifices, the emotional payoffs, and how the writers built an ending that balances this absolute closure for Hawkins with a lingering sense of hope for us, the audience.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Victory here hinged entirely on a strategy the sources just call all in. No plan B. This was it.
Their final stand.
So what were the three tactical prongs? These incredibly complex moves that had to all succeed at the exact same time.
The complexity is just fascinating because they were fighting on three different levels at once: psychic, physical, and interdimensional.
Okay.
So prong one was the head-on psychic confrontation. That was the main attack. You had 11 joined by a Calatron, or 8 and Max, of course, confronting Vecna, Henry, directly in his own mind.
And if that one failed, the whole thing just crumbles.
Instantly. The whole thing's a bust. Then you have the second prong, which was happening at the exact same moment.
The physical threat. Precisely. The hard engineering solution, that's Hopper and Murray, way off on their own, arming this specialized device. A bomb, basically.
Right. The bomb.
A bomb designed to literally destabilize and destroy the entire upside-down dimension from the inside out. They were essentially giving the psychic team a very hard deadline.
But the sources are clear. This wasn't just about destruction. The third prong, that was pure rescue. It was about saving the people who had already been taken.
Exactly. And this is where we get into some of the weird jargon from the show.
The beastly beanstalk.
The beastly beanstalk structure, yeah. The third group, the younger members, had to climb this massive organic thing. It was the physical conduit the enemy was using, and it led straight to this central nexus called the Abyss.
So their target wasn't Vecna?
No, their target was rescuing the children who had been kidnapped and basically absorbed by something called Pain Tree.
The Pain Tree. I mean, just the name is horrific.
It is, and the sources clarify it wasn't just a structure. The Pain Tree was a strategic creation of Vecna's. It was like an organic battery, drawing a life force from the kids to fuel the Upside Down's expansion.
So that rescue mission was just as critical as the other two?
Oh, absolutely. It was the only way to cut off Vecna's power source while the other teams were fighting him directly.
And this all connects back to the big mystery of the whole series, right?
Yeah.
The dynamic between the Mind Flayer and Vecna. The sources finally gave us that last terrifying piece of the puzzle.
They did. And what's so fascinating here is that the final analysis confirms the Mind Flayer wasn't just some ally of Vecna's. It was intertwined with him. It served as both his ultimate weapon and his master.
His master. So he wasn't even the final boss.
In a way, no. This means the whole conflict wasn't just about defeating Henry Creel, the man. It was about severing his connection to this massive manipulative intelligence that was just using him. It really elevates the whole thing from a monster movie to cosmic horror.
And while Eleven and Kali are dealing with that internally, the rest of the crew is on the ground, fighting its physical forms. The ground battle wasn't high-tech, was it? It felt almost primal.
Totally primal. It was a real testament to the group's resourcefulness. I mean, they've been improvising for years.
Sure.
They use flares, accelerants, wrist rockets, and a whole lot of flamethrowers. The fact that these, unconventional tools actually worked just emphasizes that success came down to sheer teamwork, perfectly timed with Eleven's psychic attack.
That kind of coordination. It must have come at a huge cost. And this is where it gets really interesting, because the sources are very clear about the sacrifices needed to pull this off.
The most immediate loss, and it was just heart-wrenching, was Kali, 8. The sources confirmed she died defending 11 and the team during that psychic fight.
She acted as a shield.
A human shield, effectively. It ensured the mission could continue. It was a direct frontline sacrifice that broke the enemy's concentration just long enough.
And Eleven's reaction to seeing her sister figure fall, it was immediate and brutal. The sources really highlight this as a moment where she crosses a line.
She did. I mean, driven by pure grief and rage, she uses her powers in this completely brutal way. She doesn't just knock out the soldier attacking them.
Yeah.
She forces him to turn his own weapon on himself. It's a moment of necessary darkness, I think. It shows the devastating toll of this fight. Even in victory, their humanity was maybe scarred forever.
So if we're talking about symbolic moments, the final blow had to be perfect. Who did the writers give that honor to, and why?
It went to Joyce Byers, the original Fierce Mother, the driver of the whole narrative from the very beginning.
She's the one who delivers the killing blow.
She personally beheads Vecna with an axe, and the sources say this choice was incredibly intentional. It was symbolic, a long-awaited act of vengeance for everything he represented.
For Will, for Bob, for everyone.
Exactly. Joyce, who started this fight armed with nothing but Christmas lights and instinct, is the one who finally takes out the physical evil of the Upside Down.
It brings her entire story full circle. It's perfect. Okay, let's pivot from the combat to the actual destruction. Hopper and Murray activate the bomb. And the sources note this little detail, a strange moment of levity right before the end.
They timed the detonation to a very specific musical cue.
Tell me.
Prince's Purple Rain.
Of course.
Of course it was.
That's such a classic Stranger Things moment, right? Mixing this high-stakes drama with an almost absurdly emotional 80s song. It was meant to be a moment of dark humor and a final bittersweet note before obliteration.
But the real emotional gut punch, the moment that really broke everyone, wasn't the bomb. It was Eleven's choice to stay behind as the gateway closed. Let's talk about her motivation, because it's crucial to understanding the whole ending.
Her choice was profound. And it tied all the way back to her trauma from season 1. She stayed behind to make sure that no government scientist, no one, could ever exploit her powers again.
To end it for good.
To permanently seal the door. She was sacrificing her own future for the permanent safety of the world. And the visual was just tragic. Mike, watching from far away, just sees her disappear as the dimension collapses. It seemed to confirm her death, a definitive, heroic sacrifice.
Seemingly, yes, but the story doesn't let you sit in that tragedy for long.
Right, which raises the big question, because the sources then detail the epilogue. We jump forward 18 months.
And life is moving on. The trauma is starting to fade.
Hawkins is rebuilding. And we see the core group, Will, Mike, Lucas, Max, and Dustin, they graduate high school.
A huge milestone.
It's the absolute end of their childhood adventures, and it's symbolized by one final Dungeons & Dragons session that perfectly mirrors the show's beginning.
It's a brilliant structural move. It confirms their quest is functionally over, but that D&D session's where the twist comes. The intentional narrative twist that completely undercuts her sacrifice.
Mike's story.
Mike, always the storyteller, shares this crucial Mike tale. What does he tell the group that just flips the whole emotional script?
He tells them he believes that Kali, right before she died, used her illusion powers, that she created this incredibly sophisticated illusion that only made it look like 11 died.
And in reality.
In reality, Mike's story goes, 11 actually escaped. She started a new life, somewhere peaceful, somewhere distant, finally getting the normal existence she always wanted.
And this is the crucial takeaway for you, the listener. The show intentionally leaves this ambiguous. It's so uplifting, but it's never confirmed as objective fact.
So you get to decide.
You decide. Did she die a martyr? Or did she pull off the ultimate escape?
So what does this all mean for the survivors 18 months down the road? Beyond Eleven's ambiguous fate, the sources confirm pretty much every other major character gets a really satisfying closure to their arc.
Oh, absolutely. You really see that stability. Take Max and Lucas. Their entire relationship was defined by trauma. And now, they finally get their sense of normalcy. They settle into a predictable relationship. They get that long-awaited, low-stakes movie date. It's a small detail, but it's so vital. It shows that life can, go on.
And what about Steve Harrington? He survives yet another near-death moment. What's his future?
Steve, the eternal big brother, he doesn't go off to college. He stays. He becomes a youth baseball coach.
Ah, that's perfect.
It's so meaningful, though. It allows him to stay central to Hawkins, looking after the next generation of kids. He fully evolves from reluctant babysitter to dedicated mentor.
And the true emotional core of the series, the parental figures, they finally get their piece.
Yes. Joyce and Hopper get the closure we've been waiting for since season 1. Hopper proposes, and they plan to finally leave Hawkins behind, move to Montauk.
To start a new, quiet life together.
The ultimate reward for everything they went through.
And we also get updates on Robin, Nancy, and Jonathan. They're all pursuing careers that fit them, promising to stay connected. And, maybe most importantly, the sources confirm the kids rescued from the pain tree are shown thriving again.
Which offers that final, unequivocal note of victory. The innocent were saved.
So if we synthesize all this, the core reason the ending worked so well wasn't just the action, it was the theme.
It's all about thematic consistency. The ending brought the story full circle. It tied the resolution not to the military or the government, but back to where it all began.
The D&D game.
The D&D game. And the unwavering theme that friendship, love, and your imagination can conquer the darkness.
So the finale leaves us not with this clean, absolute ending, but with a calculated, really brilliant blend of resolution and hope. That ambiguity around 11, that's the final gift to the audience.
It is.
It gives you emotional control. You can choose the tragic but heroic sacrifice, or you can embrace the hopeful, clever escape dreamed up by Mike.
And that leads to a final thought for you to consider. We know the entire series hinges on the power of friendship and imagination, the stories they tell each other. That's the foundation of D&D.
Right.
So if the show's premise is built on the power of belief, does Mike's story about 11's survival become a genuine narrative fact within the show's world, simply because the heroes, and by extension, the audience, choose to believe it?
Does faith in the story make it real in Hawkins?
Something to mull over until we dive into the next set of sources.